Hey everyone, welcome to the Bela Coaching YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to transition to vegan. I know you have a lot of questions and you're entering into this process. Maybe you've been vegan before and you're looking to transition back and figure out the things that didn't work the first time. Maybe you are doing this for the very first time. Maybe you're transitioning to plant-based vegan over just vegan, which, as we know, vegan can actually be unhealthy if we're just eating Oreos or eating foods that are fake foods, so those fake meats and fake cheeses that are not necessarily nutritious. And so this is going to be a supportive video for helping you to transition to plant-based vegan and really feel confident about the process, making sure that you're doing it safely and effectively, and make sure that you have the tools that you need to get started.
Welcome to the Bela Coaching YouTube channel, supporting helping professionals with long-lasting habits for energy in your life, body, and business through courses like Balance for Life to help mental health professionals create simple systems and habits to make the most out of your time, money, and lifestyle. Nutrition for Life to help you transition to plant-based nutrition and stick to it for good so that you can improve your mental and physical health and become a conscious consumer in the process, as well as individual coaching and counseling to cover anything in between so that you can live whole, love well, and lead adventurously. For more information, see the resources in the description below.
First off, it's important to know what to expect and choose your mindset going in. There are going to be a lot of changes that your body starts to go through. You're going to start to go through a detox process, especially if you're flip-flopping from one day having meat pretty much every meal, meat and dairy and eggs and all that animal products, to none at all. You're going to go through a bit of a detox period, and this can be kind of confusing at first. I tried actually in February of one year. This was probably about like 3 or 4 years ago when I transitioned, and I tried in February and it just did not work. I did it for 3 days and it was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel prepared enough for this. I don't know what's happening to my body, and so it was a really difficult transition. So over the next couple months, I really worked on a transition plan and a transition process, and I learned what to expect through the process, and I got support and I asked questions and got the tools that I needed. So that's my encouragement for you going into this, is to really make sure that you know exactly what to expect, and you have the support that you need and the tools that you need to make this transition as comfortable as possible. Also, I want you to really think about choosing your mindset going into this. We can go into it with a mindset of, this is deprivation, and I'm not going to be able to ever have those foods again, those foods that I grew up with, and what about for holidays, and I'm going to miss turkey, and I'm going to miss all these different foods. You can really veganize, you can really transition those foods to a vegan version, or find plant-based recipes that are really filling and delicious, that help you to really not miss the foods that you had before. Now, I remember my first Thanksgiving, it was really difficult because the rest of my family and friends were all eating, the turkey and the stuffing and everything, and I really had to work on finding vegan recipes, but the ones that I found, they really tasted the same. You use the same seasonings, and you just find that you really don't miss those foods. And so if you're in this kind of deprivation mindset of oh man, I'm gonna miss all these things, let those things go and really focus on, this is a new thing that I can embrace. There are new possibilities going into this, and this is an exciting exploration. So really keeping yourself in the right headspace as you enter into this process really helps it to stick, and helps to make sure that you don't avoid the process or fall back into old habits. And so choose your mindset going in. As I hinted at, you also want to make sure that you have a plan going into this. How quickly are you going to transition? What foods are you going to eat? Where are you going to be collecting your recipes? Who's going to be your support system? All of these things are really important to helping you to start off on the right foot. So, even creating a meal plan at the beginning of the week, and setting out a grocery list, going grocery shopping, and creating prepping for a couple hours, maybe on a Sunday, or at least choosing times throughout the week that you're going to prep. So maybe on Sunday you prep your breakfasts and lunches, and then throughout the week you cook dinners periodically and eat the leftovers for future lunches and those kind of things. So There are lots of options. Just choose a meal plan and choose a style that works for you, for your schedule, your life, and your routine. All of this helps to make sure that you're going to stick with it in the long run and also feel confident going into the week knowing this is not something that I have to worry about every single day and try to come up with things on the fly when you're tired or you've just gotten home from work. So meal planning will help to take a lot of that pressure off of you. Another thing that I want to address is that sometimes people are more go with the flow and they're like, well, I'll just figure it out as I go. Honestly, that was my thought when I tried to transition in February. I was like, I'll figure it out, it'll be fine. It's really good to have this plan in place, even if you are one of those more go with the flow, so that, we may, at the beginning of the week, for instance, I choose my meals and I say, okay, so these are some ideas, and then I'll go to the grocery store, buy those foods, and then I'll prep those vegetables. And so I chop everything up and get all the food chopped, but I may not cook them yet. And then throughout the week, maybe I decide, instead of this, I want this. So instead of tacos, I'm going to make quesadillas. Or instead of, quesadillas, I'm going to make chili with those ingredients. But I still relatively have the right idea and there is some flexibility. So if you are more go with the flow, you can still have a plan, but still be go with the flow, if that makes sense. So creating a plan is still going to help you to feel solid in what you're doing and at least have an idea of what you're going to do so that then you can go with the flow, change it as needed. Next, you want to make sure that you are following a proven, strong nutrition plan. First off, you want to make sure that you're getting a B12 supplement, and there are some different questions and ideas about this one, so I'll link to some resources below. But you're also going to want to make sure that as far as your food, you're having legumes, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, nuts and seeds. All of these things are going to help you to have a balanced nutritional diet, and it's really good to have a balance between these different things. We want to have a bit less of the healthy fats and a bit less of the protein. So about 10% healthy fats, 10% protein, and then 80% of the whole grains, legumes, and fruits. And so there's slightly varying ideas on how much of each of these our bodies really need. And so I definitely recommend keeping a food journal where you write down the different things that you eat each day and make sure that the food that you're eating feels filling. If you're eating lots of, for instance, when I have salads, I'm actually not a huge fan of lettucey iceberg salads because I don't really feel like I ever get full. I feel like I could eat the whole bowl and I'm never gonna feel full. And so for me and for my husband, I work out each day and he's, burly, strong man. We really try to make sure that we are having rich foods that have a lot of different food groups, and they're also a mix of the veggies and a mix of legumes and different kinds of food sources that help us to feel full and satisfied at the end of each meal. You're getting lots of fiber, lots of protein, lots of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, nutrients that are really what our body needs, omega-3s. So the more that you have variety, the more you're going to get the food that you need from these different sources, and make sure that you're eating a balance of these foods. Now, if you are finding that you're doing this and you're still struggling, you're still finding that, it just doesn't feel like the right balance, one, try to switch some things up, try some new things. For instance, if you are noticing that you're still hungry, then make sure, one, that you're eating more, because on a whole foods plant-based diet, we really don't need to keep track of how much we're eating, especially if all of your food is whole foods. If you're eating fake foods, if you're eating the fake meats, the fake cheeses, or pre-processed, pre-made food or processed foods, all of these things, you're going to need to watch your intake because they may have added sodium, added sugars, added things that our body really doesn't need. But if you're having a whole foods plant-based diet, you're going to get the kind of food that you need and you're going to feel amazing through that process. And when I eat a whole foods plant-based diet, I just feel amazing. You feel so full and you feel satisfied, you feel energized, and your body feels balanced. It has the nutrition that it needs to be strong and feel satisfied. So if you're not feeling that way, we need to get you some support. For one, Tracking your food is going to give you a tool that you can share with a nutritionist or a recommended registered dietitian, or even just getting coaching that can help to provide more of the guidelines that you need. So for instance, I have 3 years as a plant-based vegan, and so the support that I offer is not on the same level as a registered dietitian, but it is going to help to provide you more guidance. We can look at your food journal and your food log and make sure that you are getting the balance that you need, see if there's anything that we can do, and then make sure that we have the information that we need to go to a registered dietitian. So these are some things to keep in mind when it comes to your nutrition, but basically for the most part, you're just going to really focus on eating that whole foods plant-based diet and choose foods that help you to feel full and satisfied, try new recipes each week, and get excited about the process. Next, I definitely recommend getting some community and support for this process. And when I say community, you can find community on meetups, you can find it in Facebook groups or online groups and places where you can meet people. You can find it in person, you can reach out to a vegan restaurant near you, ask what tools and resources they have available to share. Maybe they have some events coming up for their location that you can go and visit and meet other vegans. There are so many possibilities, especially nowadays, to meet other vegans and really get connected to this cool community of people. And interestingly enough, I find that when I meet other vegans, there's almost like this aha of, you're my people, like I get you. There are so many things that come into alignment when we meet with other people that are trying to make that similar transition. Plus, it gives you support, it gives you accountability, encouragement. It helps you to see what's possible and hear from other people who have gone through this transition as well. So being within community, even with other people that are transitioning, will help you to feel less alone and get the support that you need. So in addition to that, in addition to getting support from community, we also want to make sure that we're getting the kind of support that we need from a professional. And so for me, I am a mental health professional. I'm a therapist or a counselor, as some call me, and I'm also a coach. And so when I come to work with people, we talk about the mental health side of things and how that may be affecting their body and their mind. We can actually talk a lot about how nutrition contributes to mental health, and your gut is actually like your second brain, and so the nutrition that you're putting into your body is also going to come to your mind and the way that you interact with others. So for instance, if you've ever noticed you've had a lot of caffeine and you're just more irritable and you're more jittery and you're more jumpy, and so you snap at your husband and you snap at other people at work, and you do that enough, think about the repercussions of those relationships and the anxiety that it creates in your mind. Do you ever notice that you get more anxious when you have a lot of caffeine? And so those are all things that, it's the same thing with the other foods that we're putting into our body. If you're eating foods that your body can't use or has too much of, it's going to come out in who you are and the way that you act. I know before I transitioned to vegan, I was very much, I had a lot of dairy, and dairy was like my life. It was like I had to smother everything in cheese, I had to cover everything in butter, like there was so much cheese and dairy all over my food all the time, and I loved it. And then I learned about food intolerances and realized that a lot of the side effects that I had acne, I had gas, I had bloating, I was lethargic, and I had brain fog, things that I thought, these things were a part of me. This is just how I am. This is just my personality. All of these things, I realized that they weren't really part of my personality. This low energy, this tiredness every time that I worked out was actually contributed to by the foods that I was eating. And so the more that I transitioned, I was still eating meat at the time, but I removed dairy from my nutrition, and I had brain fog clear. I have more energy, my acne goes away, I feel more positive and more light. And I was like, if this is possible, what else is possible? And so I started to learn about plant-based nutrition from there. And the more that I got into it, the more that I realized this is really what's helping my mental health. There's so many things out there, so many, even medications and different things that we try to use to fix depression or treat these different issues that we have. And so much of it, and I'm not saying all of it, and I'm saying this is a holistic model, so nutrition is a component. It's not everything to mental health, but at the same time, it's a contributing factor. And the more that we realize that, and the more that we tune into that, the stronger our bodies and our minds will be for making this transition. So get the support that you need. Bottom line, get the support that you need to make sure that you're doing it in a healthy and safe fashion, and also make sure that it's working for your body and for your mind, and that you're able to live life to the fullest, and that this is a positive experience for you, done safely and effectively. So down in the comments section, as I said, I have something for you today. Down in the comments section, I have a link to my top 10 vegan resources, my top 10 favorite vegan resources, so that you can continue to learn more about vegan nutrition and help it to do the best for your body and for your mind, and even beyond nutrition, holistic wellness ideas and support for helping you to get not just your vegan nutrition, but help with your relationship, help with boundaries, help with those holidays and travel plans, and anything else that you could come into contact with through your vegan transition. So check out that resource in the link below, and I will see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more holistic wellness videos like this. Also, follow Bela Coaching on social media like Instagram and Facebook for more great content, live videos, and information on upcoming live events. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.